What's up everyone, I'm Ronnie Woo and this is Cooking for You and Me. So pumpkin season is rolling around and it's time to make pumpkin pie. So today I'm going to show you guys how to make my fresh pumpkin pie. It's one of my family's favorite desserts and personally I don't think you need to wait till Thanksgiving to make this one. You guys are going to love this recipe, so stay tuned.
You and me, we like the same kind of music. That's why we make a good you and me. We got style, baby, we know how to use it. That's why we make a good you and me.
I had so much fun cooking with Uncle Ron.
So the first thing we want to do is start with making our pie crust because we want to give it some time to chill while we make our pumpkin pie filling. But first, let's start off by preheating our oven to 425 degrees. Alright, so in a large mixing bowl, I want to add 1 cup of all-purpose flour. Next, you want to take about 5 to 6 sheets of graham crackers and finely grind them in a food processor. Then you want to add 3/4 of a cup of this finely ground graham cracker into the large mixing bowl, and we're going to save the rest to line the bottom of the pie pan. Next, we want 1½ tablespoons of sugar. Then we want a pinch of salt. Alright, I have 1 stick of frozen butter. You know how I like to use frozen butter to get that nice flaky crust. I'm going to give this guy a rough dice and add it to my dry ingredients. Next, we're just going to mix up the butter with the dry ingredients until it resembles coarse meal. Then we want to add 1 egg and a few tablespoons of ice water. We want to keep adding ice water tablespoons at a time until the dough holds together. Next, on a floured surface, you want to flatten the dough out into a disc. Next, you want to take your floured rolling pin and roll your dough out to about 1/4 inch thick. Then I'm going to sprinkle some of the leftover crushed graham crackers into the bottom of my pie pan. This is going to add that extra crunch. Now we want to gently transfer the flattened out pie crust into our pie pan. Then we're going to very gently fit the pie crust into the pie pan and then trim off the edges. Alright, now that we have our pie crust into our pie pan, let's chill it in the refrigerator while we make our pumpkin pie filling. Alright, so our pie crust is in the refrigerator. Let's make our pumpkin pie filling. The first thing we want to do is take 3 eggs and add them to a large mixing bowl. Then we want to add 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Then we're going to take a whisk and beat this mixture until it's nice and frothy. Then we want to add 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, followed by 1½ cups of evaporated milk. This is going to be equivalent to a 12-ounce can. Then we want to add 1½ tablespoons of heavy cream. And lastly, I want to add 1½ cups of pumpkin puree. I love using freshly made pumpkin puree because it just gives it that extra oomph. But if you don't have it on hand, just use canned pumpkin puree and it works just as well. Then you just want to give it one last good whisk to make sure everything is thoroughly combined. Alright, so the pumpkin pie filling is done. I'm going to let it rest for about 10 to 15 minutes, and in the meantime the dough is going to continue chilling. I'm going to clean up a little bit and I'll see you guys back here in a few. Alright, so the pie crust has been in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes and that's plenty of time for this type of crust to set. Now let's add our pumpkin pie filling. All I want to do is gently ladle some of the pumpkin pie filling into the pie crust. Next, I want to take a beaten egg yolk and gently brush the sides of the pie crust to get that nice golden color when it bakes. Alright, this bad boy is ready to go in the oven. I'm going to bake it for about 60 minutes, give or take, until the filling is set. You'll know the filling is set when it no longer jiggles. I'll see you guys back here when it's done. So my pumpkin pie has been cooling for about an hour. Now let's give it a taste test. So delicious. That Graham Cracker Crust goes so well with the pumpkin pie filling. You guys are going to love this recipe. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to email me. I'll see you guys next time on Cooking for You and Me with Ronnie Woo.
That's why we make a good you and me.
We want food.